All right, welcome to week 4 of Project Management 140. There are 2 videos now for this week, and we'll see how this goes and see if it makes sense. Only this video is required to be watched. The other one is an answer to your questions. Last time I asked you to ask me some questions about the course, and so I've created another video that is all about answering your questions. So feel free to take a look at that video if you'd like to get a look at the questions, the answers to your questions. So this week we're talking about project integration. And project integration is the one piece that goes across the entire project. It starts with creating a project charter. Now, let me tell you a little bit about a project that I did that didn't have a project charter. So I think I've mentioned to you the Discovery Centers for Family History. Now, I'd like you to, matter of fact, go out and look at that really quick. If you haven't yet, go to familysearch.org/DC. The Discovery Centers are a place for families to go to have an excellent experience with family history. It's a little bit more than what you would find at a normal ward building. However, we're building another one in Seattle that will open very soon. So anyway, about a year ago when I picked up this project, I inherited it from the director, essentially, of our portfolio, and it didn't have a project charter. It didn't have really a plan. It had a budget, and they had kind of a scope, but it was just kind of left up to the project team to manage themselves. Some of you have asked, why do you need a project manager? Well, this is one of the reasons. When I came in, the project was a complete mess. It didn't have a clear scope. It did have a budget, but what they were getting for the budget didn't make a lot of sense. They were constantly spinning, constantly coming up with new ideas, constantly just reworking things and never delivering anything. So one of the first things I had to do was to come in and shut everything down. I had to turn off the cash flow for it. I had to have the project teams just stop working because everything was going in all different directions and nothing was coordinated. So immediately I came in and shut it down and began to create project charters. So we did a very well-defined scope. We said, okay, based on this scope, what is our schedule? And then based on our scope and schedule, what's a realistic budget? And then we began to track and monitor things. Now, that doesn't mean things don't change. As you know, the most constant thing in life is change. And so things changed. We handled that with change orders. But we were able to take a project that was destined for failure. This time last year, they were really talking about pulling the plug on it. And now today, you can see we are just getting ready to deliver the first Discovery Center. It will actually open next week as part of Roots Tech. And today you can actually even schedule a spot. Although I fear once we announce it at Roots Tech, you're not going to be able to schedule a spot. So if you'd like to get in, you might want to do that now. Anyway, it's just an example of how important a project charter is. And monitoring and controlling through the process, and of course ultimately closing up the project, is just critical to project management success. So the other part of managing a project is managing change. Change constantly happens. It could be a change in your scope. That's one of the most common ones. Sometimes it's a change in schedule. I'll give you just an example. I've been developing some training for a new software program that's coming out. Well, that new software program has been significantly delayed. It was originally supposed to deliver last summer. And so it then got moved a couple of months, and then a couple more months. And then before long, it's been nearly 9 months now, and it still looks like it could be another 2 to 3 months. So with each of those, I've had to prepare a change order, because it's not that we haven't been able to deliver. The reason we haven't been able to deliver is because the software package is not ready. Therefore, we can't capture our screenshots or do our learning or put things together. So it could be scope, schedule, or even budget. You have a decreased budget or potentially even an increased budget. Any of these can trigger a change order. Project managers help to manage through those changes so that we can still deliver on the initial project, and just keep everybody on the same page so that we know what it is that we're monitoring and controlling. If, in the example of the discovery centers, there's no change control, then you'll get nothing. Ultimately, you'll deliver nothing, and at a high cost. You read Ephesians 4:13. What did you get out of that? Great, thank you. And what about Matthew 18:12-13? What does that have to do with project management? Now tell me a little bit of what you learned about from Elder Bednar's video. Great, thank you. This week, you have a project due. By the end of the week, on February 11th, you need to turn in your project, your first team project. Now in this project, I'm really only asking for two things. One is a project charter, which is a project plan. It indicates what it is that you were supposed to do and how you plan to do it, scope, schedule, and budget, which we'll go into more detail later. You can use the template to create that project charter. Then you also need to create a stakeholder register. Now look at the requirements of that project and think about what stakeholders you might have. Those are the people that you need to include in the stakeholder register. And then finally, you need to deliver the project. So there are certain requirements set forth in the assignment. You need to deliver that project. The ultimate project is just a document based on Come Follow Me that outlines a lesson that you would give on project management. This is something that you would give to an instructor who's going to give the lesson. I'd like to thank everybody who has helped out. As you've noticed little issues with the course that you've let me know. I especially appreciate those who are texting me. I'm not very good at responding to email because of the volume of email that I get. If you have something that's pressing, please send me a text at my number, 801-884-9988, and I will respond within a timely period. Thanks again for being in this class. If you have some questions or you want to see the answers to the questions asked last week, please take a look at my other video. Thank you.